Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Henry, Senior Scuba. So today, as you see, we're going to be discussing dual rebreather and a little bit of the science behind it, the why, and also some of the equipment that I'm using and what I've done. So a quick disclaimer on equipment. Both rebreathers that you see here next to me that I'm actually now diving for dual rebreather uh, are highly modified. Taking off my instructor hat, my technical instructor hat for the different agencies that I'm working for and doing training for. That's completely aside. This is something that I do for myself and for the expeditions that that I'm doing now and looking to do in the future. So the modifications that I've done to these units are totally for me. Um, they're definitely not in manufacturer warranty or any of that kind of stuff anymore. These are done and tailor made for what I need. So because of that, I'm going to get into what exactly I'm diving at the moment. So as you see here, this is actually a brand new unit. It's got a one dive on it. This is a new unit that was purposely built for deep diving. This is one of the Go that I'm using for my 400-foot dive that I'm doing in about a week and a half. It's finally what the final, I guess, for me would be the final iteration of my dual rebreather system. This unit has the extended sorb canister for the Go, which will give me about 6 hours, maybe a little bit more of time in the water. It's got several other modifications. I have modifications to the first stages, modifications to the oxygen MAV system, some modifications to the ADV, loops, a lot of different things, counter lung system. We've done quite a bit amount of work, and I say we as I've taken information from several other friends that are diving this unit fairly deep, and we ended up making pretty much the same system as a friend of mine who dove this unit down to excess of 600 feet on a expedition to recover some artifacts off of a wreck off in Europe. Little bit more modifications to it because it's again dual rebreathers is something that's made for yourself. So every person does their own little tweaks to it for what works for them. So that's this unit. The unit behind there, which is considered my quote unquote primary unit, is a Revo. That has been also modified quite a bit. Loop system on it's been modified. The gas delivery, the computers and how it monitors PO2 have been changed. Also, several other little things that have made it more reliable for me as a dual rebreather primary system and or secondary system, depending upon which rebreather I'm using. Now, again, these units are now tailored to myself, and they are specifically made for dual rebreather. I do not dive these units as a single entity. They work as a pair, and I've done so over probably 8 months now with several other units. Kind of tell you what I started off with. I ended up starting initially with a basic Go. And then from there, I wanted to make things a little bit more autonomous, and we'll go into what exactly that means in a little while. Ended up switching over to ECCR, doing two ECCRs. I was using a chest-mounted Optima with a lot of modifications done to it. Go over some of the basic stuff I did on that. I made a custom ADV for it. Made a custom OPV. Changed the gas delivery system inside for the solenoid to be ported into a different area. All this was done for the unit to be able to what you consider quote unquote fly by itself without me being on the loop. So that's something that's really important to me, that it needs to work without me doing anything to it. And why? So how does a dual rebreather system work? If I was diving one rebreather, once I jump in the water, as I descend in depth, whatever PO2 I jumped in the water with naturally will increase as I go down in depth. At the same time, with the PO2 increasing, the volume inside of the rebreather and the counter lungs are going to decrease because of atmospheric pressure. To keep the unit from collapsing and also from having me the ability to breathe, I have to add diluent to keep a loop volume inside that's breathable, also to dilute the oxygen that's in there that is increasing as I descend in depth. That's fairly simple to do for any certified and competent rebreather diver if you're on the loop. Now, when you're not on the loop is when things start to get a little bit more complicated. Either you have to add diluent manually by yourself. Again, how much? That's a guess, right? You don't know how much you need to add. Also, you need to be able to maintain a loop volume without air actually moving inside the unit. Again, another challenge that's very hard to do. So I've gone through several different chest-mounted rebreathers. I've actually switched, I think, about 4 of them. I've tried some quote-unquote side-mount rebreathers, or I guess side-by-side canister rebreathers. I've tried several different things, and I ended up sticking with the chest-mounted and back-mount. Why? Very simple. I am a hardcore wreck diver. My passion is to dive wrecks. I am a CCR cave diver, certified cave diver, but what I'm looking to do and where I'm looking to explore are the different wrecks out there in the world. I'm looking to go to several different submarines. I'm looking to go to Lusitania. One of the dives that I want to do that's going to be something that I've been planning for several years now. I want to go to the Britannic. So for me, when you're looking at passing through doors on a ship, their doors on a ship are mostly, they're narrow, they're not wide. So for me to be able to go through these doors, I can be big this way. I cannot be big that way, because if I want to get through a door, I would have to go sideways to get through it. And that's not really what I would like to do. So again, that works for me. Other people might disagree with me. Awesome. That's why we all have opinions and we can do it. I've been diving these dual rebreather system inside of wrecks and doing advanced wreck penetration for about seven months now, or 6 months actually going into wrecks, and then a couple of months of the planning processes of actually how this works. So that system works for me as a front mount and a back mount unit. Works amazing. Getting back to how the system works and what the problems arise from them, and why I ended up choosing the Go now as my final pretty much system. Each system that I've used has fixed one problem and sometimes given me 2 or 3 more. So fix one, get 2 or 3 more. So I take one step forward, a few steps back, and I end up having to go back to the drawing board and work in my shop here. We'll go back to the machine shop that I work with and design something that's going to fix the problems. Eventually, the fix to some of the problems become more complex than the actual problem itself. And the last thing I want is complexity when I'm diving already complex system. So why dual rebreather? If I was going to be diving to a depth, for example, of the submarine that I'm going to in Malta at 425 feet, that I'm diving 130 meter, I would be diving a chest mount unit, because again, my go-to rebreather is chest mount. I love the chest mount system. They breathe the best, and I think I have more real estate to carry stage bottles with it. So if I was going to be doing that 130 meter dive with a single rebreather, I would need, for bailout, open circuit bailout, I would need about eight tanks, 880s. I would be carrying 2 on my back, and then I would be carrying about 3 on each side. That's a lot of gas. Plus, I would be needing about 3 to 4 different gases to be able to do what I am doing. And that's outside of the 2 independent O2 systems that I'm going to be carrying, one on the rebreather and then some kind of backup in case I need more O2. Now, a lot of people tell me, well, you can stage the bottles. I could. I am a firm believer in not doing that. Why? I like to keep the gas that I'm carrying on myself. That's something that I've learned diving here in South Florida, and also diving in other areas that currents get very strong. I don't know if I'm going to be getting out of the place where I went into a wreck. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back to where I left my bottles. I might not even come back on the down line that I came back on. So for safety, I have to carry the bottles on me, because in the event, God forbid, I'm not able to leave the wreck or come back to the initial area that I came down to the wreck, and for whatever reason might be, I do not want to get stuck without bailout. So carrying 8 tanks on me at all times is a challenge. And for me, in my way of thinking and the risk assessments that I've looked at, I do not want to do that. And that's a minimum for me. 8 tanks is a minimum. That's taking into consideration me having a hypercapnia hit, having to leave and ascend. That is not taken into consideration if I'm penetrating inside a wreck and I need extra bottom gas to get to where I'm doing and then get out and then ascend. This is literally having a problem, identifying it, bailing out, ascending safely, and getting into the deco levels, completing my decompression, and getting out of the water. That's for me 8 tanks. If I have to go inside a wreck and do any kind of advanced penetration, I'm carrying more than that, because I'm going to need additional bottom gas to swim out of the wreck, hopefully find my way out without encountering any other problems and get out. So the problems start to compound severely. That's why I ended up going to DUAL rebreather system. And because of that, I keep it very simple. I do 2 rebreathers, and then I do 2 different gases, or one gas, depending upon how deep I'm going. What are these OC gases for? They're there for my safety of hypercapnia and what I consider sanity breaths. Going to the easy one, what hypercapnia is, obviously one of the 3 major things that you encounter when diving rebreathers is hypercapnia, hypoxia, and hyperoxia. 2 of those I'm going to get no matter what. I'm going to get no matter what on a rebreather system, whichever one, of dual, single, it's going to happen. Hypercapnia can happen on any time of the dive. It's just in excess amounts of carbon dioxide produced by your body working, or the rebreathers not scrubbing out the CO2. That, in layman's terms, causes you to hyperventilate. When you hyperventilate, anybody that's actually gone through this, you start to breathe very quickly, and it can be substantially higher SAC rates, your surface air consumption rates, substantially higher. My surface air consumption rate is about a 0.7 if I'm breathing open circuit. I plan all my dives at 1.5, sometimes 1.8 my SAC rate, depending upon how deep I'm going. The deeper I go, the more the higher the SAC rate I go, just for my safety, to make sure I have enough bailout gas. And what I do is, when my diving DUAL rebreather, I take a bottom gas, or if I'm going very deep, in excess of 300 feet, or to 500, or wherever I'm going to be end up bottoming out, I'll take 2 of them. I'll have a bottom gas. For example, for the Olympus, I'm going to be having a bottom gas of 975 on one side, and I'm going to be having a bottle of another 80 of 1845 on the other. So I'm going to be carrying 2 80s with gas in them. The reason I chose those gases is my planning, and also to minimize isobaric counter-diffusion in the event I have to ascend on open circuit to get me to a safe depth for me to be able to get back on rebreathers and decompress. So not getting into a very technical part on how I did this and so forth, that's the reason I carry them. It's in the event my rebreather is no longer working and it's not scrubbing out CO2, or something happened and I'm working hard at depth. At 400 feet, my plan is not to be kicking. I'm there most likely going to be on my DPV, and I'm doing minimum amounts of work at that depth. I'm not there to raise the ship or do anything else. I'm just exploring and so forth. So to date, my deepest dive has been 460 feet on DUAL rebreather. I was only there for a short period of time. I've done that 3 times now. And I was only there for about a couple of minutes, just looking, make sure everything's working, come back up. So my run times have not been very long. The Olympus is going to be the first long real dive on the DUAL rebreather. I'm doing about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit over that on the bottom. My total run time is going to be in excess of 4 hours with decompression. So I'm looking forward to that. Very, very happy about everything that's going to be happening with that. the systems that I'm using are highly modified, going into pretty much of the stuff that I changed on it. One of the really cool features that I'm doing now, I'm using Halcyon's new Symbius wireless Symbius system, which also incorporates wireless PO2 monitoring, both the wrist handset and the hood, which sits on my face like this. Both systems are connected to the front mount and back mount rebreather. So my Revo monitors PO2 with the Symbius system, and actually talks to the front unit. I can monitor both sensors with both of the computers, and actually compare how everything's going with both of them by just looking at my HUD, which is very, very good. Aside from that, obviously the Revo is using a dive can shear water system to controller to operate the electric solenoid. In the future, I'm going to be changing that as well, and I'm going to be making the Halcyon system control everything, my solenoid, and the actually standby PO2 system on it is going to be working on that. So that's coming up right now. I'm looking to do that kind of modification to the back system, so everything is incorporated through this wireless system. And why wireless? Honestly, carrying all this stuff, having wires on you, are just more points of snagging on things, and just making it more streamlined. I don't like wires on me. Ever since I started using the wireless Halcyon system, it's been revolutionary. I don't carry anything. Everything's working absolutely wirelessly, and it's worked down to at this moment, it quote unquote it's worked down to 400 plus feet. I'm not sure how much deeper the wireless system can go. It hasn't been tested past, I believe, 450 feet. I guess we'll do some testing to see how much further it can go. I know theoretically, I've been talking to some sound engineers and so forth, and also some people, and I think that the signal that it uses to transmit might get distorted with depth past the 450-foot range. I'm not sure yet. We're going to have to be doing some of that testing later on in the future. So that's kind of what I've been doing. What I've changed throughout all these iterations. So I was using a electronic ECCR system before, front and back. That was working great. I ended up running into a problem with one of the electronic systems that I was using. Even though it was awesome, it added the oxygen by itself, and it kept my PO2 matching the PO2 of my back mount unit. I actually had the front mount unit solenoid open at 400 foot plus, and obviously that happening at that kind of depth with having an oxygen spike like that is deadly. So that started making me think that maybe I do not want to have two ECCR systems for that reason. One is enough. Managing in case of anything happening with one is enough of an issue. I wanted to simplify it, so I ended up going to a different rebreather that used needle valve. That worked for me very well, but one problem it fixed, it arised other problems. That rebreather, aside from being an extremely robust rebreather, amazing system, the gas delivery to it, both from the DIL and from the oxygen system, was not conducive to dual rebreather diving. And I was not going to be modifying that system because it works so well. So why change a great unit? I decided not to use that. I went back to a unit that I know breathes amazing at depth. Until you dive the Dive Talk Go, you don't know how amazing this thing is in terms of breathing. The deeper you go, the better it breathes. With the gas extender, with the gas extension for the sorb, it gives you a very large amount of counter lung volume. And the CO2 scrubbing is amazing. The worker breathing is amazing. I honestly, in my mind, what I would like to do is actually use the Go as my primary and have some kind of secondary system, kind of like a sidewinder or some kind of back mount system, or maybe a side mount system that I can modify and make streamlined, The systems currently on the market are large, and I really don't want to use them. And again, this is my opinion. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they're not big." Well, they're big to me. I want something small. I want something light. I want something small. I want something compact. And the reason for that is because the whole reason that I'm going down to these depths is to explore wrecks. And I want to be able to get inside these wrecks. I want to be able to make my way through some of the small holes that most people that dive with me know I get through. Despite being, 6'1", 230 pounds, I get through some pretty small holes in some of these places that people are astonished that I actually fit into. I might have to take my rebreather off and feed it through, but I get through safely and everything's awesome. So that's kind of what, in my mind, this is not the final version. I know this is going to be my final chest mount version because I have it working extremely well at the moment. This is my deep dive unit. I'm not going to be changing back and forth. This is specifically for deep diving. It's really not meant for normal diving without a dual rebreather system. And again, I might make some changes to it just to make it better. I'm looking at actually doing the internal wireless system on it, and that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's really good to come. The other things that I wanted to, I guess, discuss with this whole dual rebreather thing is that every system is different. I've spoke to probably all the very notable people worldwide that are diving dual rebreathers, and if you know who they are, I'm not here to mention names. I've become friends with them. We've exchanged information. I've obviously gotten more information than me giving, I guess. Like I said, I'm the new kid on the block, the baby in this system, but I'm doing it in a way that I think is safe. And the reason I say I think is safe because coming from the background that I am, people that know me, I am a commercial pilot. I'm a test pilot. I've been test pilot for Boeing as a maintenance test pilot for them. I'm something called type rated. I actually can pretty much fly all their jets as a captain, as well as all the Bombardier aircraft. I'm type rated on over 17 planes now. I've been an instructor. I've been a check airman. I've been a check instructor for various different airlines, and now I'm flying corporate heads of state. I'm flown for royal families. So the risk assessments and some called SMS, safety management systems that we use for aviation, I've kind of been porting it over to the dual rebreather side. And how I've been doing that is I'm actually using the risk matrix that we use in aviation to tell me where my weaknesses are in the dual rebreather system. That's something that I really haven't spoken to too many people about. I've spoken to colleagues in the aviation field that specialize in safety management systems and what we consider risk assessments. As a pilot, before we fly, we do a risk assessment. We put in the captain, we put in the co-pilot, we put in the departure, destination, airports, weather, we put in the amount of fuel we're taking, how much rest we've had. All this goes into a matrix and it's processed into a computer, and that information then is spit out and it gives you a risk assessment number. Your number is 8. And in that, in the matrix tells you there is high risk to what you're doing, and there's also information that'll spit out at you that'll tell you if you take away this factor, your risk will go down. So this is what the kind of stuff that I've been feeding into one of these systems, and it's helped me out to develop checklists for myself. As a pilot, I use checklists for everything. It's funny. People say pilots use checklists to go to sleep, and they use checklists to go to to go to the bathroom and everything else. Yes, we use checklists for everything. We are part of the checklist functions. We do something called memory items. As a pilot, we put things to memory. And what that means is that we memorize emergency checklists. And we have emergency checklists for engine failures, engine fires, catastrophic failures of different systems on the airplane, pressurization, hydraulics, fuel. There are key elements in these emergency checklists that we have to put to memory for us to be able to recall them in an emergency situation by rote. And when I mean rote, it means that if I have an engine failure, it's always going to be, the thrust lever to idle, fuel off, engine fire, pull, this kind of stuff that's ingrained in your head. Well, the same thing I'm kind of doing for technical diving and dual rebreather. I've made, in my opinion, what is my emergency procedures for certain actions, high PO2, low PO2, hypercapnia, gas, I'm having a leak in my gas, having a failure of my wing, and that kind of stuff. Things that arise while diving dual rebreather, and also that you arise in problems when you're going to the depths that I'm diving. And I've practiced them over and over again. A lot of people that follow my videos and also stuff on my Facebook channel or Facebook feed about my training that I do. I live in one of the lakes here. I spend a lot of time there. It's about 40 to 50 feet deep and horrible visibility, but it's an amazing training ground, an amazing place for me to test different things. I spend a lot of time in there just doing absolutely nothing but drills and memory items. One of the things that I do is that I put my gear in exactly the same place every single time. I don't change anything. If my light gets clipped off here, my light gets clipped off there every single time. The reason for that is that I need to be able to get to it without thinking. It's got to become second nature to me, just like touching my nose. That's something that's really important. It happens in aviation, and I'm trying to put that here. The reason I keep joining the two is because for me, technical diving in today's age is like aviation in the 1940s. There are people that do it extremely well, and then there are people that do it that do not do it well. But everybody still does it. There are different agencies, there are different training standards, there are different ways of teaching. It's the he said, she said, my way is better, this brand is better. That doesn't exist in aviation. And the reason it doesn't exist is because we have a centralized organization that in the United States is the FAA. From the FAA makes a standard. From that standard, you can elect to make a higher standard as a operator, or you can do more training, but you cannot do less. And the way it's trained has to be this way because it's checked by a standardization instructor and so forth. And that's kind of what I've been doing for myself in the background for my technical diving, the way I kind of teach, and also the way I'm doing my dual rebreather system. So that's how I'm integrating these two. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Our aviation system is one of the most safest means of travel in the world, despite people in probably in the last year or two saying that there's been more accidents. There has not been more accidents. We have it's just more public. There are millions of flights a day, and if you were to compare and publicize every single car accident that happened, nobody would want to drive. So that's a reason. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel in terms of safety management systems from aviation. If we put them into technical diving, because technical diving is, in essence, technical, we can make it safer. And again, I'm not here to advocate or change the world of tech diving. I'm doing it for myself. The way I change it is by making a quality student to hopefully pass on information and make a even better diver. That's the way I pass on and I help. I'm not here to pass on my ways to the scuba world. If people want me to help, I will help. I do this as a hobby. I run a very large company and manage very expensive private and luxury aircraft. And this to me is my decompression, quote unquote, no pun intended to say, my time. I spend it exploring the depths. So that's just a little bit about what I've been doing. Can't wait to post the video that should be coming out soon from all the diving that I'm doing in Malta in about a week. We're starting off at some shallow wrecks, shallower wrecks, about 130 feet, extending all the way to about 430 feet down at the HMS Olympus. In between there, I'm visiting about 5 other wrecks, all notable World War II wrecks that have been sunk due to the war, and I'm really excited about that. It's going to be an awesome time. I'll be posting videos throughout my time there, and also making some more content later to come for the channel. So don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys want any other information, please don't forget to leave some information on the comments, and I'll try to get it to it as I read them. Thank you very much for paying attention this long. It's one of my longest videos I've made, but I think is something that needed to be done. And hopefully it cleared up some information for some people that are actually been reaching out to me and wanting to know more about my journey, and also the systems that I'm using and what's to come. Take care.